Opening an educational psychology textbook for the first time usually feels like reading a chaotic encyclopedia of dead theorists. It is easy to get lost in a sea of disconnected names and abstract concepts. These theories function as the interlocking components of a highly functional engineering schematic. Applying them effectively in a live classroom requires seeing how they connect. The DT 50-30-30 syllabus is structured exactly like one of these schematics. Its 14 units are divided into 3 distinct sections, which represent 3 sequential phases of classroom construction. Looking at the first section, Bahagian 1, Teori Perkembangan, we find the foundational phase. These first 4 units map out the universal laws of human maturation and cognitive development. This is the bedrock. Once the bedrock is laid, we move to Bahagian 2. Here, the focus shifts to individual diversity. These units detail the specific, unique variables, like personality types and distinct learning styles, that deviate from that universal baseline. Finally, Bahagian 3 introduces the active interventions. This is where learning theories and classroom management strategies are deployed to optimize the environment, following the biological and individual parameters established in the first 2 sections. We are going to translate all 14 of these syllabus units into a single, functional, 3-dimensional model of a master classroom. Mastering this syllabus provides the tools to act as an architect of student success. Before any active teaching can begin, an educator has to establish the biological and physical constraints of the learner in front of them. Genetics dictate physiological maturity, setting a ceiling on readiness to learn. Piaget defined cognitive development through schemas. Forcing advanced schemas onto an immature brain fails. To push boundaries safely, Vygotsky identified the zone of proximal development, reachable only through structured teacher scaffolding. Development also extends beyond cognitive skills, like math or reading, to include emotional and social growth. Lawrence Kohlberg outlined moral development stages, demonstrating that a student's ability to take on different perspectives is essential for maintaining a functioning, cooperative classroom. This biological, cognitive, and social development, outlined in Bahagian 1, forms the non-negotiable architectural floor of our model. Any higher-level teaching relies entirely on this foundation. With the universal baseline established, the structural model moves to the middle layer. Here, the teacher must account for individual deviations present in every classroom. Intelligence is a complex, varied trait that defies measurement by a solitary metric, like a standardized test. Sternberg and Garbner show students possess unique cognitive footprints, excelling in different intelligences. Instruction must adapt to internal traits like introversion and self-concept. Established learning styles dictate the exact format: visual, auditory, reading, or kinesthetic, mandatory for absorption. Bahagian 2 functions as a localized translation matrix. It ensures that the teacher's lesson plan is formatted perfectly for the specific student node receiving it. With the developmental floor set and the individual parameters mapped, we construct the final layer. The teacher now deploys targeted environmental interventions. The first set of tools relies on behaviorist principles established by Pavlov, Skinner, and Thorndike. These act as mechanical methods to externally condition responses and shape student actions through strict feedback loops of reinforcement and punishment. While behaviorism manages actions, cognitivism and constructivism address how meaning is built. The information processing model details this. Data enters a short-term memory buffer. Through rehearsal and metacognition, it is securely locked into long-term memory. These cognitive transfers require deep focus and fail in chaotic environments. To prevent this, Kunin, Cantor, and Dreikhurst developed classroom management models, protective systems that proactively minimize behavioral static and shield the learning space from disruption. In our architectural model, Bahagian 3 provides the active software, executing precisely on top of well-understood biological and individual hardware. Bringing all 3 of these theoretical layers together defines Unit 13, Pengajarian Young Effective, or Effective Teaching. Pedagogical effectiveness involves the real-time, deliberate orchestration of biological constraints, individual diversities, and environmental controls. Even a perfectly designed system will experience breakdowns. Students will inevitably encounter severe personal, social, or academic roadblocks that halt their progress entirely. When that happens, Unit 14 outlines the necessity for guidance and counseling. The educator must shift into the role of a diagnostic counselor. Utilizing the theories mapped out in the previous 13 units, the teacher counselor systematically isolates exactly where a student's learning process has fractured and applies the precise psychological intervention needed to repair it. The DT 50303 syllabus provides a unified, applied schematic designed specifically to maximize human potential.